Hello and welcome to today's webinar, 3 ways to mobilize goods receipt, or MIGO, without adding to your ERP stack. I'm Ben Bradley and I'm Synactive's product evangelist. I'm happy to have you here with us today. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Today will be a short webinar. Try to keep it to 30 minutes plus or minus. As a result, because we're going to be spending most of our time in demos, we won't have time for a live Q&A today. However, we love your questions, so please either use the GoToWebinar interface to send us your questions. You'll probably get a little automated response that says something to the effect of, "We'll get back to you," and we will. So you can either use that way of submitting your questions, or you can email me directly. Or you can reach out through our website, and we will be sure to get back to you, try to get back to everybody within about 24 hours. So I think that's all the housekeeping for today, and let's jump into it here. Here's the agenda for today. Again, we'll keep it short, about 30 minutes or so. We're going to start with an introduction to the Liquid UI platform for those who may not be familiar. Then we are going to quickly run through some of the challenges that no doubt we're all familiar with as far as MIGO and ERP mobility more broadly. And then we're going to take a look at 3 ways that Liquid UI can streamline your goods receipt process, and that's going to be really the fun and meaty part of today's presentation, because we're going to be doing 3 separate demos. So I'm looking forward to this. I hope you are as well. And with that, let's get started. So, what is Liquid UI? Liquid UI is a technology based on the principle that the SAP GUI remains a stable and vital component of any SAP ERP landscape, regardless of where you are in your digital transformation. And there's really 2 main flavors of Liquid UI technology: Direct Connect and Enterprise. We'll start with Direct Connect. You can think of Direct Connect as a SAP GUI that's been re-envisioned for iOS and Android devices. In other words, it's a SAP GUI that works on your phone by connecting directly to your SAP backend. And so there's no additional technology that's needed. Just download it as you would any other app from the Play Store or the App Store, and mobilize any transaction that's accessible on your SAP GUI, including Z transactions. Now, Enterprise describes the full platform with a suite of functionality for customizing and automating and mobilizing SAP ERP apps and connecting them with the rest of your IT landscape. This is also what delivers our offline functionality and a host of other enterprise features. So this is all to say that as you approach your digital transformation, don't consider your existing SAP infrastructure as legacy technology. The reality is that your existing SAP infrastructure, your SAP GUI, is actually the core of your ERP digital transformation. Now, I'm sure that most in attendance are familiar with the MIGO transaction and some of the challenges or limitations that it places on operational teams. And really it boils down to 2 main factors. First, the stock SAP user interface is hard to use. Folks end up fumbling around with data entry, and we end up sending bad data to the back end. Secondly, MIGO is relegated to desktops, which is typically not convenient for those receiving goods in the warehouse. And this either means that some paper-based process is used, or that the process of receiving goods and capturing that data is far less efficient than it should be. And all of this can lead to suboptimal stock traceability. All right, now on to the main act. Let's do some demos. As I said before, there are 3 main paths to consider for MIGO mobility. And I want to point out that there are really 2 categories here: buy or build. 2 of these pathways, Direct Connect and rapid apps are the buy options. This means pretty much what you think it means. You buy a license, plug Liquid UI into your mobile device, and you can instantly operationalize your mobile goods receipt functionality. The build option, which we're also going to demo, is something to consider perhaps as the next step beyond our plug-and-play buy options. All right, so before we jump into our first demo, I just want to reiterate about our proprietary Direct Connect technology. So Liquid UI Direct Connect, this is a mobile-optimized SAP GUI which is extended to iOS and Android devices. And this is a single application that allows instant mobile access to SAP transactions for business users, and that's any SAP transaction. If it's available on the SAP GUI, including Z transactions, it is available through our Liquid UI Direct Connect app. Now, for those of you who are more visual, like myself, perhaps this is going to help. Here's a diagram which shows basically on the left-hand side the architecture that we're all familiar with, which is the SAP GUI. And you can see that what we call the native channel or the native pipe back to the SAP backend. So it's a very direct communication process. And on the right-hand side of this diagram, we can see a technology stack involved with supporting Fiori or any of the other UI5 powered front-end applications. Now, where does Direct Connect fit? Well, Direct Connect, again, achieves this functional and architectural parity with the SAP GUI because it uses that same pipe. Again, anything that can be rendered currently on your SAP GUI can be rendered as is on iOS and Android devices just by downloading our Liquid UI Direct Connect app. All right, so before we get into the Direct Connect demo, just to highlight a few of the benefits of Direct Connect for MIGO. As we've talked about, Direct Connect is synonymous with instant mobility of the SAP GUI. So basically this means that there's no change management risks or costs to you because you're just mobilizing what's already familiar. It's instant elimination of paper, right? You're just able to carry the SAP GUI with you, enter data on the warehouse floor. So if you're using paper, there's no longer a need to do that. The Direct Connect app ships with productivity enhancements, including the ability to scan barcodes. It's probably the main one. There's also OCR, or optical character recognition, GPS. If those things are potentially valuable to your team, they can all be invoked from the Direct Connect app. So that's a layer of functionality on top of what's already available within the SAP GUI. You know, this goes hand in hand with the elimination of paper and the idea of mobility, but just that all of your backend data will be reflective of what's actually happening on the floor, because all of this data that gets captured through our app is it syncs automatically and instantly with the SAP backend. Okay, so let's dig in here. Let me just switch my screen up. Okay, so I am just mirroring my iPad onto my Windows machine here. So you can follow my movement through the app. So this is the Liquid UI Direct Connect app. Here we go. I'm logging in here. And here we are, this SAP Easy Access screen. Let's go to MIGO. As you can see, this is the same screen we all know and love. And I'll just go through the standard goods receipt process here against a purchase order. You can see the different menu options here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan a barcode for this input field. Grab that there, okay. and hit enter. Okay, get this keyboard out of the way, and you can see the material description. And let me just confirm the quantity. It's going to be a partial shipment, say 1. And forgot to enter in something here. Put in some header text. All right, let's describe where this was received. Okay, it's received by me. And we're at doc B2-1. All right. And then I'll just describe here that this is only a partial receipt. All right. So the item looks good. Now let's check that against the purchase order. Check, and we can see that it's noting that there's a deficit. That's fine. I'll hit OK. And let's post that. And you can see, it's covered by my, my taskbar at the bottom. Hold on, let me make my window not full screen. Okay, so you can see down here at the bottom that that material document has been posted. So this is, again, us moving through the standard unmodified MIGO transaction flow as we would on the SAP GUI, but using the Liquid UI app as a mobile version of the SAP GUI. Okay, so let me jump back to the presentation here quickly. Now, the next demo that I want to get into is our Rapid app. But again, this falls into the buy category. So this is plug and play. The Direct Connect represents stock, standard, unmodified SAP GUI screens. Rapid apps are apps that have been customized for a specific purpose, and they're based on common business processes, in this case, the goods receipt process. So again, this particular Rapid app that I'm going to demo, our goods receipt app, leverages your existing ERP stack, and it can deploy. It's really plug and play. It can deploy in as little as a day. The idea here is it's a simple screen. This can be rendered on not even a tablet, but this can be rendered on in fact, it's designed for a phone or a even smaller screen than a tablet. All that's needed to start is just to scan the PO number. From there, we're going to select any relevant items and enter the details for those items. Then we're going to match that against the delivery sheet. This can record a partial delivery if that's necessary. And then it posts back to the SAP backend in real time, just like the Direct Connect app. And this really affords, in a similar way to the Direct Connect app, but perhaps even more streamlined, provides managers with full visibility into goods movement and stock levels, because that data is being fed to the backend in real time. So with that, let me switch my screen back, and I'll do a quick demo. And this is going to be, so the Direct Connect demo is on iOS. Now I'm going to show the Rapid app on my Android device. All right, so let me pull this up. Mirroring my phone currently. All right, so here we are this is again the same Liquid UI app. It's just been configured to this Rapid App mode. Here's a list of all of the Rapid Apps that I have access to. Currently, we're going to start up this Goods Receipt PO app. And again, we're going to start by scanning a PO number. Invoke the scanner. And we will gobble up this barcode. Very good, there it is. And just gonna select a specific material from this order. Okay, let's gobble that up. And I'm going to hit enter. And we can see some of the material information is now displayed. So I'm going to enter more details based on the goods receipt, put in a batch number and manufacturing date. I'm going to skip the expiration date, and again, this will be a partial receipt, so there's only one that we've received. Fill out some of this other information. Storage location CM01. Okay, and we can see that this material document has been successfully posted. So again, this is the simplified version of what we just went through with the Direct Connect demonstration. This is the Rapid App, which is sort of the pre-built customization. And just plug and play. So let me switch back to my presentation again. And so lastly, what I want to do is I want to show a little bit of the build pathway. So the first two demos that we saw, again, were buy options. This last demo is going to showcase our build capability. And again, this is something that a lot of people consider after they've gotten up and running with some sort of plug-and-play functionality with either Direct Connect or a Rapid App, and they're ready to take the next step, either in terms of further customizing the UI or embedding automation or linking to a CRM. We're going to show today a product which is part of our SDK called In-Place Edit. Before we get started, a little bit of information about our SDK. This is for the customization and automation of your SAP ERP, be that ECC or S4. And it's a way for you to, not only in mobile environments or on mobile touchpoints, but even within the SAP GUI, to improve on your existing SAP ERP investment, improve on that SAP GUI. Our SDK includes the Liquid UI server, as well as In-Place Edit, which is a WYSIWYG and recording tool which embeds directly within the SAP GUI, actually, and it functions at runtime. The output is universal JavaScript, so this is not a proprietary scripting language. This is all something that anybody who has knowledge of JavaScript can very easily manage, and there's no ABAP involved here. This is all customization, which is done without meddling with the back end at all. And these customizations and automation that's built within our SDK work across all touch points. So again, part of the value of Liquid UI is that it's a single development effort, and once you have a process customized, once you have automation embedded, that can be dispatched to Android, iOS, or Windows device, or a web app without any redevelopment needed, without any alteration to the tech stack needed. So with that, let's jump right in here. Just switch my screen back. All right, so let's get started here. I'll fire up my SAP GUI and we'll get logged in. Okay. All right, here we are at MIGO. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to initiate Liquid UI. You can see up here in the corner there's a Liquid UI button. I'm going to initiate our WYSIWYG editor and recording tool. And this is going to pull up a script window as well as a couple of function buttons on the right-hand side here. So the first thing I'm going to do now that I'm sitting within MIGO is I'm going to use the recorder to show it what my standard movement through the process is. What are the fields that I use? What are the screen elements that I interact with? And that is going to become the basis of the script that ultimately produces this simplified screen. So you see down here, I'm going to start recording. I will write the scripts to this directory here. And now I'm just going to start my process. So you can see as I select items on the list, script is generated for me in the editor below. So you'll see that script build as I move through this process. So again, this is going to be goods receipt against a purchase order. And we'll use the same purchase order as last time. Okay, here's the material. Input some header text. PO header text for receipt. Okay, this is a partial receipt, so we'll do 1. Right. Okay, storage location CM1. Goods recipient is Ben. And unloading point is doc B-B2-1. Okay. Right. We'll note that only a partial receipt. Let's check that this item is okay. And you can see there's a material deficit. That's fine. And we'll post this. Okay, so we have recorded this process. We'll turn off the recording tool. Yes, the new input script has been created. Here's where. So let's just validate that. We'll take a look. So here it is. This is the recording of our movement through the MIGO transaction. Goods receipt against a purchase order. And now we're going to have some fun by messing up this screen. So we want a clean slate start. We will just start clearing the screen here. So I will select an item and delete it. And again, you can see as I do this, script is being generated below. And this is the script that will ultimately, when the SAP GUI or Liquid UI app calls up this screen, our Liquid UI engine will perform these alterations to the screen before it paints the screen for the user. So any of these simplifications will be in effect when the user arrives at the screen in the future based off of the script that we create today. Let's clear all of these fields. Goodbye. And we'll delete this whole tab strip with the box. And you as well. Okay, so there we have a clear screen now. I'm going to start adding new elements to the screen. And basically we are going to start to recreate that Rapid app that we demoed a few minutes ago. We'll just take the first few steps here, show you kind of what it looks like to begin to build your own application with the Liquid UI SDK. So we'll add an input field here. Double click that. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. And here in the parameter section, I'm going to give this variable a name, z MIGO PO. And that custom variable is one that ultimately I will end up referencing in the function as a way to tie together the recording and the inputs from these new fields. This new text field, say header text, and we'll add another input field. Right here. Just move these over. Give ourselves a little bit more room. Make this a little bit narrower. And I will name this variable z MIGO header text. All right, and then now I need a way to invoke the function. I'm going to do that through a push button, which I'm going to make a little bit bigger because I'm designing this for a mobile touch point. So this is the post goods receipt button, and I'm going to tag it with an icon. Oops, I got to go back up, I missed it. I'll use the save icon. Great. Oh, it's too small. Let me make it bigger. I think I want to make it 32 and 2. Let's try that. Okay, that's better and good enough for now. And now what I'm going to do is I will link together the recording as well as the screen modifications that I've made. So now this is going to be the UI, or at least the starting point of the UI for our mobile app that we're building, our goods receipt app. Come in here and I'm going to modify this script and basically just get rid of anything superfluous And we can see that here is the original value that I entered as the PO number. And what I'm going to do now is insert whatever is given in this custom input field, MIGO PO, and then I'm going to copy this, and because header text is the other field that we have built out in our UI, I will replace the header text with our custom variable MIGO header text. And need to make sure that my function name is correct. Okay, MIGO post, we will save that. And we will save that as the function to call with the button press on our new UI. And then here on the screen, we're going to start by loading that script. And we will save these changes. And refresh the screen. And let's give this a try. So let's see, what's our PO numbers? 45000222957. Header text can be anything. Test header text. Post that goods receipt, and ba-boom, there we go. So we've created now for the third time successfully a material document in SAP. So that is a taster, and hopefully one that was helpful and interesting, of how development capability works on the Liquid UI build platform. Now, this obviously can go much deeper than what was demonstrated today, but just wanted to give a taste of what's possible and really just show you what the first few steps might look like if you chose to build something like the Rapid app that I showed earlier in today's presentation. So, with all that said, I want to wrap this up and send you all back to your day. But again, I encourage questions. Hopefully we got you to think a little bit here about what some of the possibilities might be if you consider that your existing SAP ERP infrastructure is still vitally relevant to the functioning of your business and is also a vitally relevant component of your digital transformation strategy. Because really all of the investment that you've made in your SAP GUI can very easily be ported to mobility with all of this enhanced functionality. And then once we start talking about our SDK, we can start talking about a huge amount of automation and simplification for your end users. And again, this is all based off of your existing tech stack, so there's no additional layers. So I hope this is helpful. Please email me with questions. If you've asked questions through the GoToWebinar interface, I will respond back to you shortly. And with that, I want to thank you for your time and attention today. I hope you found this useful. Appreciate your feedback. And until next time, this is Ben Bradley with Synactive, signing off.